Hello everyone, in this video I will be discussing how we can use date and time in Excel. First I will discuss date. So for that let me insert a module and let me start subroutine whose name is trial. Now if we want to get today's date and show it as a message, then we can write msg box date and let me run this code. Today's date is 17th July 2020. Now, if we want to give date to some variable, then we can give it as, first we have to define the variable, x date, and let me give date to this variable. So, date value equals to 17/02/19. And I can show this date as a message in message box. Msg box x. Let me run this code and show you. So I have entered 17th Feb 2019. Now if we want to get year for the provided date, then what we have to do is we have to write year. And similarly, if we want to get the month and date for the provided date, then we can write msg box month x, and for the day we can write msg box day x. Now let me run this code and show you. So here is 2019, month is 02, and day is 17. Now if we want to add some days in the provided date, then we can use date add function. For that, first let me add one more variable as date, and let me give this variable date add d comma 3 comma x. So I will explain you what I have written. So in date add there are three parameters. D corresponds to date or the day, 3 corresponds to how many days we want to add, and x corresponds to the date that we have provided. So I want to add 3 days in x date. Now I will show this as a message box. msg box y. So it should give me 20 Feb 2019. Let me run this code. So we have got 20 Feb 2019. Now if you want total number of days between the two dates, then we can use date difference function. So here this was date add function. Now I will be discussing date difference function. So date diff, what I want is the day, total number of days between the two dates. So x and y. So it should give me 3 here. So it is giving me 3. Now I will be discussing for time. So if you want current time and want to show it as a message in message box, and you can write it as msg box time. Now let me run this code. So right now is 14 hours 58 minutes 16 seconds. Now if you want to give time to some variable, then you have to define that variable x as double, and then x as double, and then x equals to time value. I can write the time in string. So let's say 13, 30, 20 seconds. Now if I want to get the hour for this time, then I can write it as msg box hour and then x. Similarly, if I want minutes, then msg box minute and then x. And for second, msg box second and time. Now let me run this code and show you. So 13, okay, minutes is 30 minutes, okay, and second is 20 seconds, okay. Now in Excel, date and time are stored as numbers. For date, it calculates total number of days from 0 Jan 1900. Let me show you with an example. So let me first define x as double, and let me give this x some date. So date value and 01/01/1900, and let me show this value in the message box and a g box x, and let me run this code. So it is showing me 2. What this 2 represent is total number of days from 00 Jan 1900. So 00 and 01, which equals to 2 days. Similarly, if I want to calculate the total number of days for today's date, then we can write as x has date and then MSG box. So total number of days for today's date is 44029. Now for time, it is decimal number between 0 and 1, and 0.5 corresponds to noon. So let me give time value to x variable that I have defined, and let me give some time to it. So let me give 12 o'clock in the noon and show it as a message in message box. Let me run this code. So it is equals to 0.5. Now if I want to know the number corresponding to the time that is happening right now, I can write it as time Then the number corresponds to the time that is happening right now is 0.6279. So in this video we discuss what functions we can use for date and time in Excel VBA. In next video I will be discussing this function with examples. Thank you.